here we are, back in the garbage studio, covered in garbage, just absolute filth everywhere. Would I have it any other way? Of course not. Here's where we left off yesterday. We got our sandwiched piece, which is an iteration on these guys where I started it flat on one side and then like carved into it. This time I made two halves and Oreoed them together, and we're going to see how this works out. I see a comment on YouTube, but I do not see it on my OBS. I wonder why that is. Hi, Clint. I wonder where that is. Let's see, so I'm connected to the YouTube. Oh, the thing I forgot to do on the sounds is that I have to set up, oh my god, I have to, re-import and set up all my sound files again for YouTube for some reason. I do not know why this is. Let's just see if I can set one up real quick as a test. Okay, so I submit the thing, then I make a command. Such a laborious process. Okay, command V, exclamation, cheer. Okay. Permission everyone. Then I pick the sound file. There we go. I submit it. Let's see what happens here. Paul Reader, how's it going? I'm gonna try typing something real quick here. Did a thing happen? 9. A thing did not happen. Try it on this side. All right, well, I gave it the old college try. How are people's days going? Something still has Vaseline all over it. Nothing like working with a Vaseline covered chisel. That's safe. really like coming back to do the first chisel pass on this stuff after 24 hours because it's still like, it's definitely hard enough to not break or, you know, crumble when I carve it, but it's soft enough that it carves almost like butter. Like stiff, hard butter. Go to DC for the first time. Ooh. Oh, you saw the back of the Lincoln Memorial. Cool. Is it like seeing the back of water at Disneyland? I've been to DC, I think twice. Once as a kid, and then once, I don't know, 5-ish years ago. My cousin who lives there got married. The museums there are so cool. You know, if you're into that sort of thing. Pretty interesting day. Replace a blower motor for your grain storage unit. Oh. I hear those things kill people. I'm glad you're safe. Apparently it's a bad idea to jump into the grain like Scrooge McDuck and try to swim around in all your gold. Doesn't work out like you'd expect. Oh yeah, all the powder in the air that can catch fire. So lighting up a cigarette and jumping in for a swim, just not a good idea, sounds like. There go my summer plans. Thanks a lot. Oh, if any of you guys hit commercials, can you let me know how bad they are? I don't know how much control I have over them on YouTube. Jiffy cornbread mix. I don't think I've ever heard of a Chelsea cake. Chelsea cake. What's Chelsea cake? So did you already move, Clint? You like you out in your new place? Side interviews, exclusive YouTube content, never before seen. Rock carving tips and tricks that only my YouTube audience will ever know. Also, welcome. How's your evening going? I hope it's going well. Chelsea cake is another form of cornbread. All right. So you grow corn really good for bread. I'm guessing there are like 1,000 different variants of corn, so I shouldn't be surprised that there would be growers who grow for a very sub category. I was on a ladder, not 120 feet up, but you know, about, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet up, so pretty close. Trying to build a little side addition on the side of my house where I can have my table saw outside, but not in the rain. I'm trying to build just a little like lean-to roof up against the side of the house and then coming down to the fence. Man, I hate building things. I hate it so much. Closing in 2 weeks, maybe? All right, good luck, fingers crossed. Yeah, what happened to the weekend? It just kind of came and went, didn't it? Corn, feed, and fuel. Those are the main 3 types. largest mill in Iowa. Yeah? Alright, cool. Send them right over, Endavies. Tell them Washington is beautiful this time of year. Oh man, that is going to be tricky. I'll have to draw up pictures. Oh man, Clint, you were born early? You were an early baby. Maybe that's a better way to put it. I bet no one there has thought of that joke. It's like when I tell people I went to high school in North Pole, Alaska, and they always say, "Whoa, did you know Santa?" And I'm like, "Whoa, I never thought of it, but yeah, that's interesting." Oh, a little early. I like it. That's why you're bald, because you're an early baby. And is it possible to be late when you live in early? And when people show up to a party or event early, does the host say you're early? Or do they say you are correct? Hey Fizz. Yeah, I was just testing it out. So in order to get the sounds to work, though, you have to like redo all of them, like set them all up again in the YouTube after you log into the YouTube thing. Fortunately, I believe after you do that, you can save that, but you can't like save the Twitch one and then paste it in as YouTube for some reason. However, I did do a test one that I loaded in just a couple minutes ago, and it also was not working, so. Although that was me, so maybe it's different. Try cheer. No, no cheering happening. Let me double check that it looks like I'm linked in here. Oh, wait. The connect button was not connected. Aha! Oh, that's right, but I still hadn't set up the YouTube bot, which apparently requires I have to make a new YouTube account. Try it again now that I hit the connect button. Probably won't work, but it's worth trying. Okay. Also, welcome. How you doing? And also, complaint. Did you send those the wood frames like via China, slow boat to China and back? Usually only takes like 2 or 3 days for stuff you send to get to me. To China? Okay. Okay. There we go. So these all have the downside of being like basically outlines because of the way I built them. I'm trying to think, I guess I can break that up by just filling in some of the areas. I probably should. I kind of did it there and that helped. Yeah, I should like cut across some of these areas, I think. Okay. But this one does not have that problem because it was made by doing each side individually. They're in my area. Ooh. I just checked the mail before I started work because I was excited to try it out. Although, oh, speaking of excited to try it out, question is going to be, what gives first, the frame or the rock or the little ring that I put around the rock? If we're lucky, the clay will stick to the rock and not stick to the frame. See how lucky we're going to be today. Yeah, accidentally snapping it all off would not surprise me. Especially after how yesterday went. Or was it the day before yesterday? Whatever day it was. So far, so good. All right, look at that. Yeah. So definitely not smooth, but you know, it's fine. It's a rock. Probably want to fill in some of these little areas. But for the most part, it's a good, solid base to build off of, and it gives me very precise lines. So hurrah. Let's see if we can, see if we did it twice. Definitely is going to require a little bit of cleanup, but I think overall we are on track. This one I'm full of trepidation about. However, it does look really darn promising as far as getting me towards this reference. Like, once this is painted and detailed, man, it's gonna be good. Trust me, it's gonna be good. And the fact that it was made all from scratch makes me very pleased. Like, no rock molds were harmed in the making of this product. Because I know everyone's worried about the rocks. the only way I know how to make this really precise is actually to print out one of these, but I don't think that will actually fit on my printer bed. Hey, Rob Fish. Yes, I have made many rock molds out of silicone. The struggle that I have is actually getting very precise tiling shapes from out of that. And so I just wanted to see, can I carve from scratch realistic rocks exactly in the shape that I desire? And so I'm pleased in that I think the answer is yes. Now, can I find a way to do this in a reasonable like price point? That I'm not so sure on yet. Can I do every different kind of rock texture? Also unknown. But for the one I was trying to do, I think I matched the reference pretty well. Hey, Jean / Linda / man, you've gone by so many pseudonyms. Nom de plumes. What was the one I knew you on by Twitch for the longest time? Oh, 76. You're like a bunch of numbers that started with 76. Yeah, Fizz, you did depress me with that news. You make clay molded fishing lures. I learned everything from my channel. Oh, awesome. Stressed about prepping for the convention? Is it just all the work you need to do, or are there other reasons to stress? Rob Fish, if you want a place to share your cool handmade lures, I have a Discord where people share all kinds of art, and I love how variety, how much variety of types of creative stuff people post on there. So I'd love to see fishing lures. Oh, I don't need to pick you up. You sure? Okay. Come on. Ah! That's an awful sound. Let's see. How do I get that out of there? Ittier bittier bit. It's just expensive, so you're not sure you're going to make the money back. Yeah, that's the life of an artist, right? Always forced to gamble. Yeah, I don't know how deep that hole goes, but I guess I shouldn't really dig any deeper because it's pretty shallow on this side too. I forgot about this nice little chisel. I don't really have to get all the little white bits of plaster out of here. Just trying to find the ones that are covering up cool little cracks and features. And is the show this weekend, Fizz? Oh, doing dishes. All right, go do your dishes. Over $1,000. Yikes. I hope that includes making the time required to make all those amazing products and not just the cost of the booth. Biggest show in Houston. Still wearing your earbuds while you dishwash? All right. Yeah, I mean, she definitely deserves to be making, you know, good money for what she does. $400 for a table is not bad. At least, not in this neck of the woods. I don't know if it's like real estate, you know, where different places, it's typical to have radically different cost for the same thing. But yeah, I think 400 is like, that's for a pretty mid-tier convention in this area, depending on the size of the table. then I believe also, like, if I took the salary that I make here and moved to Houston, I could probably live in a mansion. So I have a friend who moved to Georgia and is doing pretty much that. Problem is, that runs the risk of companies doing a 180 on the whole work from home thing. Ten by 10, an 8-foot table. Holy crap, that's huge. Guess everything in Texas is bigger. Rob Fish, the idea is I'm trying to make a bunch of different kinds of textures for diorama, wargaming, dollhouses, railroading, you name it. Anything you need, you know, a miniature version of. I've been using this as, this was one of my first prototypes. So yeah, like you can imagine making a castle, something like this, where you just like wrap it around a can or whatever, boom, instant castle, right? Or it's a floor of a dungeon, or it's the ceiling, or you know, you can cut it up, you can bend it, whatever, glue it to whatever. And yeah, so I'm trying to do all sorts of different textures, rocks, cobblestone, shingles, whatever you can imagine needing for miniature work. Oh, animal enclosures like amphibians, and I'm not sure. I'd probably need to make it out of something special to make it animal enclosure safe, especially if I wanted to make it like fish tank safe, but I could imagine doing so. Cave door into one panel. Yeah, I mean, I think the idea is because it would be easy to cut and stuff, like whoever bought it could easily do that. But yeah, honestly, a set of doors and gates is on my to-do list. and along with like pillars, window frames, uh, decorative sculptural elements, carved, runes, hieroglyphs, all sorts of patterns and stuff. And I want to make those like in just strips that you can just unroll and glue onto whatever you want. Spray over it instead of pick it out. Yeah, the only reason that I am picking a lot of this out is because it's covering up like little details that I purposefully wanted in there. Like the more the little cracks and crevices are, the more it like reads as a smaller scale. And a lot of these sort of just like blob into those cracks, so they make them less sharp. And one of the things you're always fighting with when you're trying to make something appear a small scale is keeping things crisp, like crisp edges, corners, and really straight lines. But yeah, ultimately, I'm not gonna pick every tiny little piece of white out of here. Just until, you know, I'm happy. Whatever amount of white picking is necessary to make moi happy. Something that I would be proud to put on the market and say, here, I worked hard on this, buy it, please. All right, Clint. Good luck with the gremlins. Good luck turning them back into Mogwai. I'm thinking of also kind of doing a crisposity pass. Speaking of crisp lines, because of the mold making process and because it came from foam, which is, you know, fairly soft, and so all these lines and edges are, again, kind of round and soft. If I want to get that sense of scale, I want to really go in and sharpen up, not all of them, but enough of them where the eye can read it as a big old rock face. So where rock has fractured recently, that's where you're going to get the nice sharp edges. And then, you know, when it's been a while and you've had lots of weathering, whether through wind or rain or whatever, that's when it starts to smooth and round out. And some places are sharper and smoother than others. So you've got like really crisp lines like there, and then you've got more kind of like rounded, chipped up pieces elsewhere. So I'm trying to get a nice little mix of that. Right now I think it's mostly round, and I'm trying to go in and find kind of hand select areas where I feel like having a fresher, sharper fracture will benefit the overall look. Like this area here is so rounded out. I feel like it definitely needs a crisposity pass. Yeah, Rob, the idea is after I've got this all finished, I will do um, silicone molds, like I did with these. So, like this tile set here is made from that, and then this is the one that I used for this guy. The problem I'm running into is that the amount of material to actually fill this mold is a lot, and it's not cheap stuff. So um, these particular pieces that I'm doing are going to have to be like the premium expensive version, and then I've got to figure out a way to make basically flatter, cheaper versions for more mass market. I should also say you could make non-flexible versions of this pretty cheap out of just plaster or whatever. I wanted to experiment with grate stuff too. Can't remember if I actually did that. I feel like I did, and the results were not great. But I can't think of where I put those results. Halloween Ghoul, it is hydrocal. Yeah, I made a garbage mold. You can see the results of it right there on the floor. That's what I broke it out of. I first carved it in XPS foam. These are all the little trashy bits of it that I pulled, and then I cast that in hydrocal, and then after I had that negative, I pressed freeform air clay. That's what this is. Pulled out. I actually made two sides of it. Pulled it out, sandwiched them together. Yeah, it's been an epic process. wanting to find ways to lean into all these cracks from when I broke it out of the mold. It came into a bunch of pieces that I had to meticulously puzzle piece back together. So wherever these cracks are, I want to say they're like fissures in the deeper rock. And kind of make them happy accidents. Where do I sell my work? I've got casts and stuff on Etsy at Breath of Life Dev on Etsy. If Fizz is around, maybe he'll post a link. We really need to figure out how to get links to work on on YouTube. But one thing you'll notice if you go there is that I set the quality bar for what I sell there pretty stupidly high. Which means everything takes forever. Forever. This gets really blobby in here, but I'm trying to fight the urge to crispify everything, because that's definitely one thing that is true. When you look at a large, conglomeration of rocks, there's almost always areas where, even on very crisp rocks, there's still areas where it's really kind of soft and smushy. Not literally smushy. Like, don't go bang your head into them, but more rounded, smooth form areas. Thanks, Halloween Ghoul. Yep, all it costs is countless hours. forgot my rule. I'm trying to stick with the largest tool for as long as possible. See if I can follow it better on this side. Need to stop getting distracted and jumping into the details. The point of holding, using the big tool as long as possible is that it kind of forces you to take a higher level view of the secondary forms. I keep wanting to dive into the tertiary and even beyond that, into the quaternary realm. I want to be like Ant-Man, but if you're just working on a bunch of teeny tiny little details, you're missing the forest for the trees. And I want to make sure that I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing a bunch of detail work on an area that it turns out when I take a step back and look at it, I'm like, oh no, actually I should just gouge out that whole area or whatever. is you should be able to conjoin these into infinite combinations, and in places where you end up with little gaps like that, that's what these little plugs are for. Okay, so I think I'll do one more clay pass on this. And after that, I'll do the word that has just decided it's gone from me now, unless I fumble around for it for about 30 seconds. Primer, there it is. Until I do a primer coat, and then I'll reevaluate. one thing I was thinking was looking for other areas where there's kind of not a lot going on one side that is high, and then looking on the other side and saying, do I want to maybe dig down into there? I think that's a perfect place for that. Like, I actually really like this little area for whatever reason. Less do I like this part. So I'm just gonna brutally chisel it out. Like a brute. Now. Anywhere else? Got a tall area here. This area is pretty nice. This area is pretty nice. This area is kind of meh. Yeah.
When are you gonna stop streaming?
I don't know. I feel like it. Why?
I wanted to talk about possibly a small loan with payments, planned payments every month. It'll be very small.
Trying to get the car?
Yeah, Lexi's mom gave the okay, so it'll be $4,000. The moment I have 2,800 in the bank account, so just 2,000 will do it, and I could pay you back every month. I got a payment plan of your choice, really.
Yeah.
It would be very helpful, and I think it's doable on your part, but it's up to you. No.
Okay. I'll ask the chat. They'll just decide.
The chat will determine my fate.
Chat, should I loan my son $2,000?
I make at least $2,000 a month, most of the time. There's sometimes dry spells, but that's always in.
How fast do you anticipate you'd be able to pay back $2,000? In 1 month?
I'd say 2 months would be a safe bet.
2 months?
The music is perfect for this.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on a reality.
You're in Shark
show.
Tank.
Yeah. 5% interest.
Also, hi Sarah Summers. maybe Sarah Summers will determine your fate. Maybe
yeah.
Halloween Ghoul. Maybe Indivies. Maybe Rob Fish. Interest should be extra. Works or favors. But sure. Okay. Let's see. For interest, I would say let's make sure we get that the new theme song from my YouTube channel.
Okay. I can do that.
Could work for interest. I gotta dig through my music, and because I'm sure I've got one of my ditties. I think it'd be really fun if it was a mix of one of my ditties and then you actually like taking it and making it good.
Okay. Like remastering it? Well, not remastering.
Yeah.
I think I heard some of the ditties you did as a kid, and the sound quality is very poor.
Oh yeah, I want to be actually done. Just take the
just
one of those tunes.
Okay.
Because yeah, I remember the song that I shared with you that I want it to be like. It's pretty much just like one little ditty, but done over and over and different, and then adding layers, like really cool layers to it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
I can do that. Does that mean there's a deal happening?
No, it's not just my money, so just talk to Mom about it.
Try to convince her.
Okay.
Because I feel like she'd be the one that would be bottlenecking it a little bit.
Yeah, most likely.
Man, you're really working on those rock textures.
I really am. I'm spending way too much time on rock textures. Way too much time. It's not healthy. Indivies, she's a German, so she's got a good mind for finance. She says, if you can pay it back in 2 months, why not just save up for 2 months to do it?
Because my boss is up my ass about it.
Yeah, that is the reason. His boss is...
Also, I want to move out by July.
Oh, wow. July.
Yeah.
That's quite the timetable.
Yeah, that's when her lease runs out, like July, late August.
You guys are talking about moving in together?
Yeah. To be in Seattle. But since I wouldn't have to be buying, like, doing car payments, because prices have just gone up since I looked 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
With cars. I'd only have to pay insurance. And I'd mostly park the Ford at Ashway and occasionally transport to Seattle.
You're allowed to park it?
Yeah. Like, you can park there for up to almost, like, 5 days? It was, like, 84 hours or something. But, yeah. I think it would be a great, good step. I think moving out before grandparents move in would be amazing. I think it'll also be easier for you guys to get them to move in. Because I feel like they don't hate me, but I don't think they like me necessarily.
I don't think they dislike. Follow-up questions for the boss. That might just not work. Yeah, I think his boss just wants him to be able to go wherever, whenever, and is frustrated that he can't. So.
My boss is also a bully. Just a little bit.
What?
He asked me if I was retarded at one point. Yeah. Shane, so, do you have like a mental disability? Something? I was telling Lexi I might start recording those conversations.
Excuse me, would you mind if I recorded this for
strictly
for legal reasons?
Yeah, strictly for legal reasons. In case you infringe upon my rights or say something vastly inappropriate, I can use it in court against you.
Yeah.
Yeah, my boss is trying to be like a mentor to me. I don't want him to be my mentor, but he's taken up that role and is convinced that, like, when I told him car rate, he's like, that's ridiculous. And I'm like, well, it's the case. And then Donnie chimes in and he's like, yeah, no, that's the case, Darren. And Darren was like, really?
Yeah, you could just look it up.
Yeah, I know. And he's like, for me, it was only 4% interest. And I'm like, well, welcome to hell, man.
Yeah.
I bought my car for $8,000 and it's in great condition.
Yeah. My parents bought a house for like $30,000 when they were in their 20s. So
Yeah.
good for them. The clay just unalived itself. Boss should provide a car if he wants to send employees out.
Oh, he should, yeah.
That's a very European mind frame there.
It's a very fair mindset. I wish our country had stuff like that, or just people like that. If you're a big tech company, they'll do it. They'll give you a lease on a car, I think, for a good deal.
Yeah.
Although tech workers are getting laid off in droves right now.
That's true. Yeah, a lot of those kind of benefit, like fun little benefit things and perks are definitely drying up.
You see, Elon Musk isn't paying rent on Twitter buildings
Yep.
because it's quote ridiculous. I'm like, okay, man.
Yeah.
Man, that's very progressive of
I
you.
mean, why should he pay rent if he doesn't want to? Have you thought of it that way?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. How is he supporting me? I finished training for Shure Audio, so he says he'll give me 500 for that, but I'm not counting on that from him because he seems to be kind of not financially solvent at the moment. He had to use his paycheck to pay for my paycheck and other employees.
Yikes.
Yeah. No, it's not because he isn't getting any money coming in. It's that people aren't paying him in time, which is a common thing, I guess, in this industry.
Paying vendors is
Yeah.
the first thing that companies try to stop doing to save money.
Which is just complete bullshit, but we don't have to pay you. It's not like you supplied a service and made the entire show possible or anything. Oh,
Just go
hey,
ahead.
you want to work with us in the future?
Just
I
go ahead
know
and
it
sue
took
us.
4 months for us to pay you, but
Well, congratulations, though. I mean, this is the first time hearing that you and Lexi are thinking of taking such a big plunge.
yeah, we've concluded that we feel worse enough without each other that it's
Yeah.
both our benefit.
I mean, it makes me sad. I'll miss you, but
I'll still be around
as long
because
as
I
you're
work
still
here.
around.
So. I'll probably since I have to take transportation, I'll probably come by earlier in the morning and then go to work. I can still help out and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think he would purposely screw us over. Shane's a good kid, but still got a lot of life experience to figure out. He is 23. He's my youngest, if you can believe it. But the other one's been out of the house since 2017 or God, since he was 16, and he is 25. I think now. So we're gonna be empty nesters soon if all goes according to his plan. We'll see how that works out. Kind of empty nesters, but my disabled brother still lives with us, and Heather's disabled parents are planning to come live with us fairly soon-ish. So we are going to be pseudo empty nesters. So at that point, wow, so if her parents move in with us, it's going to be 4 disabled people to 1 abled people. I'm going to be vastly outnumbered. Wish me luck. Pseudo always sounds like pseudo. Well, that is how you pronounce it. It's not pseudo or pahudio. I remember really embarrassing myself. I bought when I was a teenager, I don't know, I was like 13 or 14. I bought a tape. This was back when you would buy music on tapes. And one of the songs was called Pseudo Intellectual, which when I read out loud to my friend, I was like, oh, there's a song called Pseudo Intellectual. Which is just such an awesome title to mispronounce that way. And then, when I heard the song and heard the lyrics, it was heavy metal, so it had to be shouted, pseudo-intellectual. I was quite mortified. Pseudo-intellectual. All right, I really need to stop myself, but I keep seeing other things I want to change. I need to stop. I need to stop. It's too much. I also need to do a test to see if sculpting this sort of thing in ZBrush gives me better results. ZBrush and then 3D print. The great thing about doing it in ZBrush, of course, is that I can print it out at lots of different scales. Now, technically, I can 3D scan this. I kind of feel like I'm going to lose a lot of the super crisp detail of it if I do that. But then I could probably run, because it's a rock, I could probably run some kind of procedures over it to re-crispify it. That wouldn't be too terrible. Like if you're trying to scan in a face and then re-crispify it, it would probably do all sorts of No, well, it would just have it would not work. It would look bad. Feels awful out there. Is it humid? Especially humid? God, we had such a gorgeous, warm, breezy, nice day on Saturday, and I, a friend and I had arranged to for them to come over and have a social visit, but because we're super COVID conscious, it has to be outside. So I was like, oh man, it's gonna be so nice when they come over tomorrow night. Tomorrow being last night, and no, it turned suddenly like frigid, windy, and sprinkly. So we were covered. We have like a back covered porch. Uh, but yeah, even we had heaters out there and we're under blankets and everything, and it was still just like so miserably cold. It's, it's that thing where nature tries to fool you into thinking this is how it is now. It's going to be just nice and warm for the next 4 months. Enjoy it. But then no, not really. Yeah, that can give me some rough guidance, can't it? I guess technically, no. Yes? Yes, that can give me some bigger guidance as well because, well, it's not the same size going in, it is the same angle. 79% gross. All right, hurry up and sleep. Hurry into V's. Sleep, sleep, sleep. Faster, sleep faster. Oh, I'm out of focus. would be good. Do I have it down here? I don't think I do. I need to, maybe I'll do this on my Patreon. No, I'll do it on my Discord and Patreon. I'm going to put up some musical ditties that I've written over the years and recorded onto really crappy synthesizers on like a tape deck. So the sound quality is just absolutely horrible. But I want to choose one to make it sort of the new theme for the channel. One that Shane will take a, he'll take a pass at and like make it actually good. Yeah, I should have people vote on that. See what people like out of those various little garbage ditties. Big Dark Artist, how you doing? Welcome. So that probably works too. Yeah, so this tells me that part needs to be shaved down quite a bit. You missed me live the other day? Glad you made it today. I'm gonna try to be doing more YouTube streams. I'm still gonna be streaming on Twitch Sundays and Wednesdays, but I figure any ancillary streams that I do between then, might as well YouTube it and see how it goes. Apparently the visual quality on YouTube is superior to Twitch, so that's good to know. All those darn have-tos getting in the way of the want-tos. All right. Happy with the direction this is going. Again, for reference, this is what I'm trying to pull off, is this kind of rock texture. And yeah, I think I'm getting there. do just a little bit of carving on this one. I'm still going to be adding stuff to it, so don't want to get carried away, but in these little areas that might be harder to get to after I add more. A little bit of filling to do on this. Oh, right. Okay, so here's what I think. No, wait. There's one more thing. One more thing before I get to all those steps is this guy. So I was trying to see if can I do a straight up sculpted from scratch in clay as opposed to starting with the foam like I did with these other ones. And yeah, I'm gonna see. Let's find out. One side having sharper rocks and one side having smoother. Yeah, that's definitely a good thought. I mean, that's exactly what I was trying to do with like this texture, right? I wanted to have the fairly pristine and then the more like battered up with bricks missing side, and then you could choose as you're, tiling this on whatever, which side to glue down. The problem, like the reason I maybe don't want to do smooth versus sharp is that, if someone is building something and they have a very particular look that they want and they buy this rock set, but for whatever reason, like it only works on one side and not the other, and then they're more limited in like how they can attach these. Whereas if all the sides have a fairly consistent look to them, just different patterns, then there's not that concern. But I'm going to think about that some more. Like this side already does have a little bit more of a worn look to it than this side. This side has more broader, flatter surfaces, like areas of rest, and this area is a lot more just kind of craggly and eroded. So that's like a bit of a subtlety where they will definitely work together perfectly fine, and maybe that's the direction to go. Yeah, thanks for the thought. I will chew on that. That's right, Linda. I'm always chugging away at it, a little bit at a time. Baby steps until I reach the top of the mountain. Okay. So let me start thinking about shapes. This is not my only reference because this is like kind of a close-up flat surface, but I also want to be thinking about larger forms and ways that rocks could cleft. I think these three references all can work together really well. So Yeah, like, look, there's literally this, a triangle right there that you could imagine, me carving something like that onto there. And then it fits into this larger set. And so I'm trying to think of secondary forms and also balancing like one side with the other side, like where it raises up high on one side, ideally it's low on the other side. But also, I want to have 3 points of contact on each side. And that's where things get tricky. Like, I want it to be exactly an inch thick. Like, all of these should be an inch thick so that you can glue them wherever and count on them, like, meeting up. See that kind of line that goes through the middle there? That's always going to be the flat place where they can meet together. But of course, you're free to like play around with it and see, what works. Tilt them together, move them. However, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. That's that's why I'm doing all these tests, is to see what is possible. Yeah, that was my goal, was to make a modular tiling rock set. I've never seen that done before. And as I'm trying to figure it out, I'm seeing there are a lot of challenges to making it work. There are tiling like dungeon tiles and stuff like that, different configurations and stuff. But my idea is a little bit different in that, like, I'd like you to be able to build whatever you want out of like cardboard or foam or garbage, whatever, and then just hot glue these cool textures onto them, and suddenly it looks like a super professional diorama. That's the goal. Let's see, I think I'll just roughly give my halfway point here. This is the place where it should be flat. So for instance, as I'm gouging out this part, I don't want it to go past that line. The line must be drawn here, and no further. I think Yoda said that. This is tricky. I'm having to put quite a bit of pressure on here. Try not to do it towards my fingers. I want to keep all my fingies, all right? Is that so much to ask? I don't know why this feels so much harder to chisel than here, but maybe it's because I'm only doing, yeah, it's probably because I'm just scraping smaller pieces off at a time. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Okay. So for this one, maybe rather than having 3 touch points, I'll have one big one kind of in the middle-ish, and then maybe one other one. Because the point is, basically, I want it so that there's easy points to glue it to whatever, right? And so it's not going to be wobbling around. What about this one? How's this one? across like that. Maybe this. Yeah. Then on this side, we're going to want this cut out. So this will be a touch point. I mean, if it's in the corner, then you need basically one in each corner. For by way of comparison, this is the other one that I'm working on, and it has just this laser flat, because that's how I was building them all at first until I had this better idea. So one of the things I plan on doing with this one is, again, thinking about this middle line at about the ½ inch mark, and like cutting down a bunch of the edges. But maybe, actually, here's a thought. Maybe I want the edges to be the touch points, and I could wear down the corners. So on one side, it's the corners, and on the other side, it's the edges. Yeah, I like that. Solo hand. I do still work on video games, yeah. Yeah, I'm working on a very fun one called Blanco's Block Party right now. Kind of free-to-play, platformer, party, competitive, social, collectible thing where you could build your own levels, which is the part that really excites me about it, because I get to be in charge of that whole like the UGC pipeline. So designing the props and tools and stuff that people get to work with to build their own levels. It's really fun. Yeah, no, I swear, this clay is easier to carve through than this. What? It's the same clay. Is the fact that I mixed more pigment into it, could that possibly be making it harder? I wouldn't think so. What is that reference to the textile line? Tomorrow, kiddo. No, I get "you shall not pass" from Lord of the Rings. I don't get the textile line part. Lord of the Rings is my favorite movie by a country mile. I don't even count it in my favorite movies because it's like beyond every other movie so far. It's just unfair to compare it. But I thought maybe it was also referencing some other meme or something that I wasn't familiar with. I draw text on the rock. Gotcha. Okay. And by text, you mean texture? Marker pen is a texta? What? It's a Sharpie. It's a Sharpie line. You shall not pass. I shall not rock. Ah, Fizz. But you know, rocking is what I like best. What is best in life? To texture the rocks. To see the textures driven before you. And the lamentation of the women rocks. All the display stuff. That's probably the heaviest load, right? So does it start tomorrow, I assume? What kind of a convention starts on a Tuesday? Tell that convention it's stupid. Does it think no one has jobs? Or does it go all the way through the weekend? Oh, I see. So it's just going to sit in the car for a couple days. Well, now I know if I want convention booth stands, I know where to go to break into a car. Backdrop costs about 150 bucks. Did you get it printed at that place I recommended? Can't remember what it was called. Yeah, kind of like how that shooting off in that direction and then kind of wonkily turns back. Can't say why I like it, I just do. Something about it says, yes, this is what a rock would do. The rocks, they speak to me. I do feel like I'm allowed to have like very narrow crack lines travel across the sacred boundary, but they got to be pretty minor. Because you know, if you have two two things meeting, you don't want to have a bunch of like little gaps that you can see through. You know. $40 for the printing after shipping. Nice. What was the dimensions of the banner? Back to this bitty boy. I couldn't do. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. You got lunch and making stuff time? As in, like, you were making lunches and now you're done making lunches? Or you're eating lunch and then you get to make stuff? Oh, but that's what it is. It's, as long as this doesn't actually get through, I'm safe. But man, holding my breath every time. Oh, all right. Exciting times. What are you having for lunch? I usually do my making stuff first and then eat, which I don't know if is the best idea, but Ooh, nothing like some nice warm soup when it's cold. I think I might do a cauliflower pizza for dinner. You want to make something with rocks? All right, love rocks. You can make it a rock footstool. Okay, well, I think this is proving to be pretty promising, actually. And I imagine as I practice this technique, I can be less wasteful. I can be more deliberate with the shapes to begin with, I hope. yeah, I'm definitely getting a nice like chip flake cracks, um, and I'm getting them immediately rather than having to go through a primary step. You can skip right to step 3 or 4, whatever this is. I'm going to have to do some more little blobs to make sure that I've got the nice even 1 inch. I might have to do it on this one too. Okay, so now I can do the clay step. I can't go past that halfway line because I need them to be able to perfectly match up. Well, I guess a better example is with these, where it has to be, if you flip it over, it could still match perfectly. So as long as that halfway line is perfectly flat, it will always match up as long as they're level, right? The first iteration I had, they were super flat along the bottom, which made it so that they were oh yeah, that reminds me, I need to do some more work on these. Yeah, they all had like this kind of outline and then like scooped out feel to them. Because I had them all like flat against the ground like that, and so but realizing that I want them to be able to be flippable, couldn't do it that way anymore. Okay, first up, we're gonna grease some stuff. Right, I'm gonna grease 2 of these. But one only needs a triangle tip. Well, I guess I might as well do both. Yeah, I might as well do both. So I can do both triangle side edges. All right, have a good night. I'll have one Heather hug queued up and ready to go. Yeah, these shapes right here are very odd because they were generated by AI, and apparently they're very unique in that they can be tiled infinitely, and as you tile them, they never repeat orientation. The downside is that they're actually hard to figure out. I keep having to like flip them one way or another. It's like, no, that's not the right. Oh, okay, so that one goes there. And that's also why it's important that they be equally good on both sides. So anyway, yeah, the idea being that you can just endlessly tack those together. Oh, you saw that discovery as well? Yeah, I enjoy following science topics, and so came across my feed, and I was like, oh my god, wait, texture like tiles? That's exactly what I've been researching over this past like almost year. I've been looking for as many different like creative ways to tile things as possible, and trying to think like, okay, what's the best way to tile any particular thing, but rock is one of the hardest because um, it's organic and natural and flowy, and the more you try to like press it into a template, the more artificial it looks. um, or rather, it's really easy to tile it, but it will often start looking like man-made, like it's cut stone that's been fitted together, right? And so that's what I'm trying to figure out how to avoid. We'll see how successful this attempt is. Yeah, I'm really excited about the possibilities for animal enclosures. That was one of the things that I've always loved, is people who really trick out their lizard and insect, terrariums. And I wanted to do a like a line of famous landmarks as like animal enclosure, like basically dioramas, like really cool. Like, you can imagine you've got a lizard or a turtle or whatever, and the back wall is like Petra, right? Or um, Angkor Wat or whatever. Like, that would be so cool. But I think what I'm going to do instead of that is these textures, and then at some point I want to expand into stuff from my world setting, so more like fantasy castles and palaces and ruins and stuff like that. Because I'm trying to get as much of the time that I spend doing art towards my big life goal as possible, which is to, launch this franchise. Okay, is there any other stuff I need to do on this? No, I think this one's good. Yeah, that's right. You can't get too. You kind of need to make stylized enclosures. I had a snake enclosure that I custom built. It was like a 6 foot tall corner cage, so it was like basically a triangle shape, but 6 feet tall, and had like some cool branches in there. And I always wanted to like sculpt the whole sort of awesome environment, but I had little kids that needed my time and attention and money. Eventually ended up giving it away. good. Putting the bugs in cups. Yeah. That's a workaround, depending on what you're feeding. Sometimes critters get, like, really picky about how their food is presented to them. The snake that we had once went like a week and a half just hanging out with the feeder mouse that we had for it. Like, we would literally see it, the feeder mouse sleeping in the coils of the snake, just like chilling. Started feeling really bad for it. I was like, oh my god, this poor mouse has got to be starving. We're not feeding the mouse. Like, what are you doing, Snake-O? I think that's one of the reasons I ended up getting rid of the snake. I'm a little too sentimental about fuzzy critters. I was not happy about feeding cute things to it all the time. Okay, so I think what I decided I was gonna do is put it in before adding the clay. Yeah, I have no problem feeding bugs. But cute fuzzy things, that was rough. I had a gecko for a while too. Can't remember what happened to the gecko. Also had some hermit crabs. Gargoyle gecko and a blue tongue skink. I don't know what a gargoyle gecko is. I've seen a blue tongue though. Those things are cool. What are their names? crested are popular? Because they look most like dragons. Oh, that sounds cute. I gotta look those up. Horns and hunch. I should have got what? Aluminum foil out when I had two hands to work. Alright, watch me fumble. Not too bad. Alright. So. So we're going to get this squashed down to 1 inch. And now, let's see. What on this guy? from this guy. We're just okay. We need a little goop on there. Okay, and then this guy. They're 8 years old, wow. How old do those little guys live? Gargoyles TV show is supposed to be really good. I was a little past its age demographic when it came out, I believe. I've never actually seen it. But everyone who grew up with it says it's like the best. Whoops. Okay. Let's see this. So the idea now is I can press a board on top of this. That should squash it down to my perfect inch tall goal. I met the creator at a convention. Oh, cool. Okay. So I don't feel like I had to press very hard, which means either I didn't put enough clay on there, or I just dialed it in pretty darn accurately on my first try. We'll find out next time. Yeah, you tune in next time for the surprise event. What will Josh be working on? Will it be more rocks? Or the same rocks? So are all the gargoyles in the TV show named after New York boroughs? Or is one just happens to be named Bronx just cause? I know nothing of the lore. Except that apparently gargoyles are alive. Jonathan Frakes isn't the guy who did Optimus Prime. He's the voice of one of them too. I feel like he died recently. Not Optimus Prime, but the actor who voiced him. Optimus Prime obviously died in 1986. All us kids of the 80s were devastatingly scarred by that. So. We got a lot of gaps to fill in here. I should try to stuff stuff in there first. Okay, apparently that's not the right thing to try to stuff in there. Brooklyn, Lexington, Broadway, Hudson, and Bronx. Okay, so they're named after streets, I think, not boroughs. The streets their buildings are on, I would assume. No, Jonathan Frakes did not do Optimus Prime's voice. I can't remember the name of the guy for some reason. He was just a voiceover guy. Like, he didn't, as far as I know, never did live action stuff. Just did a lot of like commercials and cartoon characters. I think they may have got him for Duke Nukem too. so good at hiding my tool. Like, what? How? I've been sitting here the whole time. Where in the world could I possibly have put it down? That it's just gone. Oh, did it roll? Oh, look at that. It rolled under. Peter Cullen. Yes. That sounds right. Thanks for scratching that brain itch for me. Alright, I'm gonna have to pick one. Do I want Shane's noodling around on the guitar above us? Or do I want generic pretzel music? Because having both at the same time, this is not a great sonic experience, I have to say. Okay. Get to hear the creative process. This is how the sausage is made, folks. This is how music happens. Oh, now he's gonna stop. Bang on the ceiling and yell, "Knock it off!" Well, I'm all depressed because Shane's talking about moving out now, so I was kind of hoping he would just live with us forever. That seems healthy. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, sometimes he has ideas, and then sometimes he follows through on those ideas. I suppose, like all of us. Okay. Nope, still finding more little undercuts. No, dang it. I found the one spot where I had a blob on the surface that I could wreck with my finger. Oh, another little gap. Okay. little bit left. I think I wanted to address. Oh, wait. Crap. I already addressed that. The parts of here that are looking a little. I think this one is probably alright. These two, I'm not happy with them looking like very clear outlines. think that was pretty good progress for the tonight. The tonight progress is complete. So, I should really not come back to this tomorrow, but I really want to, but I really have a lot of video editing to do, so wish me luck on gritting through the thing I like less and getting all that video editing done so I can get more YouTube videos up. Yeah. Alright, thank you everyone.